Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 14 of Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and we're going to go ahead and jump straight in here. And I believe we are on our way to Tanalorr. So, as you might expect from something called episode 14, I cannot overstate the amount of spoiler that you're liable to encounter here in the game. Just let everything load into the world there. Yeah. Let's go. Just a massive spoiler right off the very first frame there. Let's hit it. Let's go. Oh, and by the way, let's get ready for some fun frame rates.
Let's get out there.
Oh, you guys, look, it's not broken. Wait, this is fine. Why? Why in the final episode does this work? Whatever. We're just gonna go. Nope, that's Jeddah. We want to go to Tanalorr. Yes. I mean, I'd love to go to Jeddah to do that bounty hunting mission, but... Hello to Solid Chrome Hickey! You're catching us right at the beginning. Absolutely no conversation, huh? This is a somber ride. So,
Oh, Grease is ready for a bumpy ride.
Oh. Okay, hold on, here we go.
Cal, is it time?
We're heading to the Abyss now. Fire up the arrays.
I'll be monitoring your progress from here. May the Force be with you all.
And you, Z.
Well, what do you think is taking Z so long?
Dagan was the only person to live through what we're about to do.
At least we will die together.
Hey, great pep talk, kids. Hopefully they can fit that on my tombstone.
Look.
Wow. Here we go. I know. You want to fly this thing?
Beautiful.
Oh, yeah. I'll bet that's what all the other poor saps said right before they were torn into Vortex Chow. Great. Now it's an obstacle course. Coming too fast?
But you are faster. Stop piloting and start flying.
I'm rerouting power from deflectors to the engines.
What are you, crazy? You're trading safety for speed.
Exactly. We're all in on you, buddy.
You're right. It's my ship, ain't it? Greasy does it, baby! Hey, wait a minute. Is it me, or is this tunnel getting a tad cozy?
It's not just you. Z, what's going on?
The arrays are overloading. There's nothing I can do.
We need to go faster.
I'm going as fast as I can. Wait a minute. Are you crazy? If you jump into hyperspace blind, they'll be picking up pieces of the Mantis all over the outer rim.
Do you trust me?
You know I do, Cal. Let her ride.
You did it, you three-armed son of a gun dart!
Well, at least none of us lost our cool. Huh. Wow. I hope it's worth it.
Did they go outside? Feels like a conversation worth having. Also, we have to decide what we want. I'm gonna see what other options we had here. Nothing cool. I kind of like him in just the jacket that he's got on, honestly. Wait. So I don't like the neckerchief or like the armor there. Wanderer isn't terrible. Let's go with that. That looks nice and snug. Do we have Wanderer pants? Or shirt, whatever. Alright. I can go with that. And then for pants. Oh, that's the only... We don't have colors for Wanderer pants. This is probably fine.
So, this is it. Annalore. You and Maren be careful out there, okay? Yeah, you too, BD.
We'll all be okay, Grease.
I'm gonna hold you to that, Cal. I don't plan on living out my days on this rock, especially not with that traitor.
We'll be back soon.
And before we go further, breaking news, you guys. It appears that Innertooth has changed their name, his name, to Inner Productions. Innertooth, what? It's gonna take a long time to not call you Innertooth, though. Should we just call you Inner? No, come on. We're not allowed to talk to Maren. I disagree. Why can we not talk to her? Oh, she's coming with us. Inner will do. Okay, I will endeavor to remember. So, who knows what we've got coming up, but I do want to maybe do some... You know something? Let me try Crossguard for a bit. I don't think that we're going to go straight into a boss fight. We'll probably have opportunities to switch it out. But yes, we, Solid Chrome Hickey and I are the very first people to see Innertooth's brand new name change. If I can ask, was it anything specific, or you're just like, it's time for a change? I do think that Inner Productions is going to be easier for people to spell. Like, for me, I always knew, like, you know, the Innertooth had, like, the 2 H's and stuff, but Inner Productions is going to be easy for people to like, oh, that's right, this is how it goes in. A now obsolete Republic droid fallen during battle with the Nihil invaders of Tanalorr. The droid gave a valiant defense of the planet. I guess that's what the scan turned up. Now, I wouldn't expect this to be like a seed that we would pick up for Kobo, but just because it's glittering... No. Alright. Oh, and Innertooth also owns... The Tooth was a strange story, says Innertooth. And he owns Inner Dot Productions. Oh, no! Okay. Didn't realize there was a cliff there. But no, that's a real-time change, because you were Innertooth just at the top of the episode. I'm interested to see that it did not change, like, back-change your name from where you started. Like your original comments still show as Innertooth. Overlooking a natural vista, Jedi of old often frequented this spot to clear their minds and find calm within themselves. I can see why. Turns out purple's a pretty cool color, isn't it, Cal? Yeah, it is.
So this is Tanalorr.
Not what you were expecting?
I don't know what I was expecting. So much has changed since I first heard its name.
The temple's this way. Dagon and Centauri Kree planned their future here.
And look where it got them.
What would you... Is there a word for this sort of, like, super vibrant color? Like in my head, it's like a Technicolor look, but that is both an antiquated reference and probably also inaccurate. I really like the look of this place, like that water. That water looks to me to be abrasively poisonous, but it does look nice. Hello to Jab! Jab, you're here right at the beginning. We just made landfall on... or planetfall on Tanalorr. I cannot move the camera at all. There we go. Okay. That seems important. Jav, I hope your Monday went well, and I hope you're able to get some rest since the last time that we were talking.
Will not let this end peacefully. He has already used fatherhood to justify betrayal and murder. Now we have him cornered, with nowhere else to run. He will kill or be killed. Well, say something.
You're right. But what about Kata? She's not much younger than we were when our families were taken from us.
I know.
You and I will carry that loss for the rest of our lives. But Kata still has a chance.
Yes, she does. Very well. We will give Bo the choice to stand down. For Kata's sake.
And ours. I
don't know what that means. We're gonna take him prisoner? Where are we gonna hold him? For how long? Look, if this was the High Republic time, and Bode could be put on trial for what he did, and then we could seek justice in a, like, neutrally arbitrated court of law, then I would prefer to do that. That is not the situation that we're in. Cal is a fugitive from the justice of the Empire. What is he going to do? Like, build a little cage in the back room of the Manus and tote Bode around? The very first chance he gets free, he'd kill everybody. He's already demonstrated that. There's only one way that this ends, and I want to make it clear, this is not like, oh man, I'm so bloodthirsty. I don't see how this ends in any way except one of the two of them dying. Or sorry, Bode or every other person on the Mantis dying. That is skin. The unexpected invasion of Tanalorr forced the Order to flee their new sanctuary. How the Nihil discovered Tanalorr remains a mystery. Jab is also submitting just a saturated color. That is probably the correct term, and maybe like a little bit surrealist, how all of the plant life is purple instead of green. Well, it's probably just like a measure of how the chlorophyll in this world reflects light. And Jab did have a good couple nights of sleep. That's good, because when you're... Yeah, that's pretty much everything here. I have lost some sleep in my life to sort of invasive thoughts and regrets of old, so it's nice to move past that and to be able to get some rest. Yeah, she's already on the other side.
I keep thinking about something Seer once said. A warning. Every Jedi faces the dark side. I feel so much hatred towards Bode.
Seer won her battle with the dark side. You will too.
He's still here.
Good.
Either that or he dumped his getaway vehicle in favor of a getaway vehicle that we don't know about. But then again, what other vehicle would he have parked in advance on Tanalorr? His whole purpose was to be here. So it's not like he landed and said, ah, my Camaro. Now I'm out of here. Jab was watching a video the other day who showed clips of movies from the 80s and 90s and contrasted them with movies from now rather. The old movies did have bolder colors than today's. I wonder if that's a directorial choice, or if it's a stylistic choice, or if it's like a measure of like what they are recorded on. Like a lot of cameras these days, like, I legitimately don't know. Like Marvel films, they're not recorded on film at all, or are they? I haven't looked into a lot about like how those specific movies are made, but I would sort of assume it's all digital cameras from this point. At this point. From there, I don't know how many other movies are putting in the time and material costs to record on film as opposed to just being all digital these days. This is me not knowing about...
to the temple. The Nile are enveloping our position. Master Gera, that is an order.
The Jedi, led by Dagan Gera, make their last ill-fated stand against the invading forces. Also, Jab, I do not know if you were among the people who had seen Nobody or were simply present when it was being recommended by Azric, but if Azric comes in at any point today, I might have to pause for a few moments to tell him how great that movie was. I greatly enjoyed Nobody. It was another in a long line of very strong recommendations from Azric. This is not away, right? Okay. Wow, we're not even on the map. The game absolutely did not expect me to go explore over here. Look, video game. I understand that narratively, Cal would charge ahead down the most direct path in order to find what happened to Bode. But you are a video game. I'm gonna go looking for things. Hello to Czar. Czar, I am enjoying the story very much. A tri-pointed water feature built to symbolize the three core pillars of the Jedi Order: the Force, knowledge, and self-discipline. Jedi strive at all times to gain mastery over all three. Yeah, no, if the game is finished today, then I want to take some time then to sort of like recap things, but without getting overly specific right this moment, I am very heavily invested in how this whole thing is going to turn out. Jab has not seen it. Jab, I don't necessarily know all of your film preferences, but Nobody immediately strikes me as a movie that I think that you would enjoy.
Do you hear that?
Kata.
Okay, she's gonna stop singing then. Yes, I'm gonna go back to my old staple here, because I thought that there might be more dudes, but there seem to be very few dudes.
Co-star, silent in the sky. Now I start to wonder why. DD1.
Hey, Katsa. This is Marin. She's a friend.
I'm sorry Papa hurt you.
Yeah.
He said I'd never see you again. What are you doing here?
Kata, your father stole something very important. We're gonna ask him to give it back.
Will you show us the way?
Okay. Follow me. I don't like it here. It's dark and lonely.
You don't have to be afraid. Better?
You're very pretty.
Kata! How did you get here?
It wasn't easy.
You shouldn't have followed us.
Papa, don't!
Stay back, Kata. This is the only way to keep you safe.
She will be safe. I promise, Bode. But listen to me. It's over.
Lay down your weapons.
This planet will be a haven for those hunted by the Empire, including Kata and you. But you have to surrender now.
Go outside, Kata.
Listen to them, please!
I will decide what's best for my family.
Oh, thank you, Marin.
Not a chance.
You will break.
Oh, God. It's fine.
You should have stayed out of this.
Please don't do that.
Distract him! I will strike from the shadows.
It's over, Kestis!
Okay. Okay. I don't like this. I don't... Okay. Man, that was way cooler when I did it to people that weren't me.
Up here.
That was me attempting and failing to do a force ability, by the way.
Ready? That hurt. That's it. Bleed out. What you got, Captain? Stay away from Kata.
I don't know, so I cannot throw his grenades back at him, just so you know. Okay, that was a pretty good grab out of the air.
Toss it.
Okay. Sorry, that was a very dramatic, suddenly I'm facing the other way. Hello to Samalander, by the way. Samalander, you may find that Innertooth has a different name.
I know your moves.
Okay, that sucks. Get up.
Stronger.
help, bud. You know you're weak! Up here. Now.
Oh, god damn! Oh, god. Okay, I can't seem to defend against him.
Help, BD!
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Don't put this on your daughter.
Bode, we know what it's like to grow up alone.
Please, listen to them, Papa!
All right. And when the Empire comes, will you be able to protect my little girl? I'm sorry, Kada. I tried.
No, Papa!
Stay back!
How are you feeling?
Better. Thanks.
Good. We should speak. I was not much older than you when I lost my family. For many years I carried this pain. I did not want to feel better.
Why?
I thought if I let go of the pain, I would be letting go of the people I loved. But I was wrong. And one day, I met someone who also lost his family. Together we found another way to survive. This pain is yours. It is part of you.
when my mother died, it changed Papa. And me too, I guess.
Yes. But it does not have to define you. And you must not let it consume you.
You saved my life on Brock. You let me walk my own path when I needed to. You taught me what it truly means to be a Jedi. Now you're gone. We will continue your legacy, Seer. We will build something that can outlast the Empire. I promise you that. I promise. But I'm scared. I almost lost myself. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready for what comes next.
guide her through the darkness.
Oh, wow. We were much closer to the end than I thought. I thought that Tanalorr might be a full and complete level. I thought that there might be, like, Ravix guys there and a whole bunch of other dudes. So otherwise I would have done this at the end of the previous episode. So to answer a question that Samalander had partway through there, since we discovered that he had a lightsaber, Bo's lightsaber has been red. What was that on Jedi that we saw it for the first time? And that, among the other details, like it wasn't just the fact that he was capable in the Force, it was that he had a lightsaber and that it was red, that this was a path that he'd been on for a long time. Samalander wants to play this game now. Samalander also says, I'm sure she won't pick up her father's lightsaber 15 years from now. And Inter is saying, woo, game done, Factorio time. No, this was short. But hold on, because we're not done yet, because we're going to talk about the game. Just give me 1 second here. So I have a question. If you use... Is this the only ending to the game? And the only reason that I would ask is because the fact that starting on Nova Prospect, or whatever the previous world was, where it was like a military base, an Imperial military base, when Cal unlocks his super ability, it seems to charge up extremely quickly and make you spectacularly powerful. And unless I really, really, really needed it, I wasn't using it because it felt, as Samalander pointed out at one point, super dark-sidey. His lightsaber would sort of turn red, and it made him capable of one or maybe two-shotting absolutely everybody around him, and I was like, this doesn't feel good. So I sort of made a decision that I wasn't going to use it very often. First of all, it really felt like an easy mode button, and I tend to be uncomfortable around like gameplay crutches that I feel might make me lazy, like some of the abilities in there. Oh, like just automatically dodge incoming blows and stuff. That makes me concerned that I'll become too reliant on them, and I didn't want to become reliant on the super mode. But the other part is that I was thinking maybe there's a certain threshold where if you use this ability a lot, then you get like the bad ending. And I was pulling for Cal. Everything here was, it really felt like Cal was starting to tilt towards the dark side right from the very first episode. So I was like, let me try to do it just regular style, and then we'll see how things turn out. Samalander is going to go looking up. Zara is saying Bode is using that one-armed Jedi lightsaber, not his own. So did he have a different lightsaber earlier? Zara is also saying so this is actually Jedi Master, and I'm not sure that I can imagine Grandmaster. Like, Grandmaster would probably be... I certainly would not have survived, I'll say that. That was, you guys, that was the... Can we just very quickly... That was the perfect closing boss fight, because that was my last stim. That came so close to do the whole thing over again. And I never like to redo fights if I can possibly eke out a win, and that was it couldn't have gotten very much closer, I'll say that. Samalander is saying that a different site says no. Okay, I was sort of curious about that. It doesn't seem like the sort of game with multiple endings, but let's talk about Jedi Survivor here. To recap the story in the broadest sense, it's Cal on a mission against the Empire. Things go south unexpectedly. His ship gets damaged, so he sort of goes to Jeddah in order to find the parts that he needs to repair the ship. And while there, becomes aware of this ancient lost planet that was previously known to the Jedi, and then events occurred, and now it's sort of like inaccessible to everybody. Almost nobody knows that it exists, and even if they did know that it exists, the path to get there is heavily obscured. It's not certain. And then a lot of the game is spent trying to uncover that mystery. I want to talk about the story there because there's like I want to like draw a line between things that I don't think are good versus things that I prefer. And on that second note, I have to say that I think I generally preferred the gameplay structure of Fallen Order more, where you went to a wider variety of different places, and even if the places that you weren't wide open the way that Kobo is, it just sort of gave you a sense of visiting very different locations as you went. And there was, I think overall, a stronger sense of story progression, narrative progression, just because you would be going to brand new planets all the time, as opposed to like looping back to the place that you had just been. In this game, is it very loud, by the way? So Silk is saying Kobo was the lost planet, not Jeddah. So Kobo was the planet where we spent almost all of the time, and Tanalorr was the lost planet there. It is kind of loud, said Samalander. Darn it. I'm extremely concerned about alt-tabbing out. First of all, because I don't want to end the thing. I don't think that we have an option, so please forgive me. I hope that this does not skip the credits or crash this thing, but we're going to take this down by actually quite a bot. So we're going to go like that and then try to go back into the game. Please tell me that that did not crash. Much better. Loud but nice music, says Innertooth. So, in terms of, like, I think just from, like, a gameplay mechanical standpoint, like, going to different planets and solving different types of puzzles and facing different styles of enemies, even if there were, like, you tend to encounter the Empire in a couple different places, but it felt like there was a progression in, like, the different Imperial troops that you would encounter. I do think that I liked the first game better. Now, that said, this game was aiming at something different. It wasn't like it wasn't trying to do that first thing. Trying and failing is way different than let's do something completely new. And very clearly their goal here was, what if we did not open world, but sort of like open environment with Kobo? And we're going to have a lot, like just tons of little nooks and crannies that you can't get to yet, but you come back a little bit later and you will be able to. It's sort of like what a Metroid game would feel like if that was open world, quote unquote, because again, it's not really open world, but I don't think that I liked it as much as the first one there, but that's not to say that it was bad. It's just like, I feel a little bit like I'm one of those people who liked Arkham Asylum better than Arkham City. Now, personally, I loved Arkham City. I thought that that was a much better game in a trilogy that I really liked, but there are those that like the more sort of like, if not linear, the very focused nature of Arkham Asylum. I don't happen to be among them, but that's how I sort of feel when talking about this now. In terms of gameplay mechanics, every single one of the new lightsaber stances was aces. I really liked it. Like, I don't know that I would have done very well with Crossguard there at the end fight because he was very, very fast. I feel like there's going to be certain stances that are really well suited for certain attacks. When I fought Ogdo Bogdo spawn, for example, Blaster stance was my best friend there. But I feel like they expanded on the existing saber styles with some, I feel like, it's been a while since I played the first one, some new aerial moves, some new throw moves, there were some force moves that could be used with any style, and then they added 3 additional styles with Crossguard, Blaster, and the Twin Saber style, and every single one of them was fun to use. Every single one of them felt like this is going to have certain experiences where it really shines, and there's not going to be any circumstance where it's just completely useless. So I had a really great time with that. The fact that the lightsaber customization is unlocked from the beginning, big thumbs up. In the first game, it was a major story beat when Cal gets to fashion his own lightsaber and then gets to choose his own color. That was amazing, and my undying gratitude to all of our viewers that did not spoil that for me. However, In this game, that's unlocked basically right after the first level, and I have my favorite color, and y'all know what it is, so we rode that for the entire game, whereas in the first game I sort of switched from red to green as we went. In terms of story and presentation, because of the way that I chose to play it, and this is very important, I made the choice to go around and search for a lot of secrets and to try to like find all of the cosmetics and all the med packs and all the perks and all the perk slot unlocks and all of the optional boss battles. And because of that choice, there were long periods of time when the main story sort of fell by the wayside. I think in a perfect game, you feel like you can go do all of those things and you're not leaving the main story behind for 3, 4, 6 hours at a time. But if I have to choose between more content or a more focused story, I do like the more content, because I could have just chosen not to do all of that stuff. And I really enjoyed the exploration and the platforming, the puzzle solving, and the optional Jedi riffs and all the rest of it. So yeah, all of that stuff I really, really liked. In other words, if they had taken like the material on Kobo and split that off to 3 or 4 additional planets that you got to go to, so it's the same amount of stuff, but just a different venue that you get to visit in, I think I would have like that would have been my ideal scenario. Not a big deal. Really had a very good time with the game on the whole. I loved the time that we got to spend with the main story. When it starts off, it's just like you're with Cal, but no one else. No one's there. Cere, Grease, Marin, everybody that you ended the first game with is not there, and it takes a while to find out what happened to them, because as Cal is talking to Bode and introducing the whole crew, like there's just no mention of any of those characters. So like it doesn't feel like they're gonna be dead, because that would be a hell of a thing to just not bring up, but it's very clear that I felt from an early point there was some sort of divide that had happened among the crew. But what's the nature of it? Why are they not together? These were questions that I had as I progressed through it. And then when you realize that it wasn't some sort of irreconcilable differences, they just felt like their focus should be on different things, and maybe there was some disagreement between like Cere and Cal, but it wasn't like, oh, we're angry at each other, now we've got to make up. It didn't do that thing that every single Harry Potter book did after a while, where we're just in a fight for most of the book, and that's why we're just going to fast forward through the calendar for a bit. It was just like, well, Cere had something that she really needed to do, and Cal had something that he really needed to do, and they just weren't on the same path for a while. And then, just as it felt like they were going to reconverge and get back together, it all fell apart. And that's why Bode's betrayal hits so hard. I joked at one point, oh no, you guys, Grease is one day from retirement, and then he's one of the only characters that makes it through. Because everybody else had, like, these big plans that they were moving towards that all get ripped away, and they get ripped away by Bode doing this heel turn that I felt was coming for a while, and even then it hit so much harder. And by the way, it was so awesome. Can we talk briefly about that episode where Bode shoots Eno Cordova? There's that whole speeder chase to get to him. Cal encounters him on that plateau, and the fight goes wrong in a way that's like, and then it brings you to like the respawn screen. I was like, oh man, I screwed up the cutscene. Like, I really didn't know what was going on. And then you just respawn as Cere. That was so well done. It reminds me of a very famous point in Arkham Asylum, of all things. I wasn't thinking about this going into this section here, but it reminded me of the section of Arkham Asylum where it deliberately plays on the fact that you're playing a video game and you've probably failed to take something that you expect and really invert it in a very surprising way that people reacted to very well. And that's what happened there. The fact that Cere gets her rematch against Vader, it was, even though we all saw how it ended, I'm really glad for that, because Seer going down under any other circumstance wouldn't have felt right, given what you discover to be her relationship with the dark side, and the fact that the last time that she encountered Vader, it was everything she could do to hold him off for a few seconds. Literally, just to stop him for a few moments took every shred of power that she had, and this time, she's ready for him. She's always known that there was going to be a rematch, and this time she gives it her absolute all, and it's not fair to say that it's by luck, but it came down to Vader's last stim pack. It really felt good. A big celebration of the talent going by, acting talent. It's a great phrase for this. So many great actors in this, so good, not a dud among them, not a bad performance in the whole set. That got me off onto a different thing. Oh, and Ravis was the tentacle guy, right? He was the guy that's just made of tentacles. It would have been so easy for that dude to just be like, boss big shot, I'm the hired help, I'm the big tough guy. But from an early point, when he encounters Cal Kestis and he realizes that he's a Jedi and that he's governed by Jedi principles, and he says, I concede, Master Jedi, lower your weapon and I shall depart peacefully. But he says it in this way that just has this little bit of edge to it, just this little bit of sarcasm, because he knows that Cal shouldn't confront him if he's offering to de-escalate, and he knows how to play that to his advantage. Now, between you and me, he probably could have just pounded Cal to pace at that particular moment, but maybe he doesn't know that himself, and he's just like, this is not our time. This is not my orders. And then there's that whole exchange that he has with Dagan Gera, where he's so eloquent. Like, it's not like he's suddenly reciting like Scarecrow at the end of The Wizard of Oz, but he's very clearly an intelligent and very well-spoken guy as he's talking to Dagan Gera about like, hey, pass or fail, my debt to you is paid after this. And it's like, it's not just like, me want money, when do I get paid? It wasn't like he was an Uruk from Lord of the Rings. He is sort of bored of doing this. He's been on this path for hundreds of years at this point and is kind of over it and wants to go do, I don't know, something else, anything else. So I really liked his character. Maybe the one character that I felt was kind of on the basic side was Dagan Gera himself. I really like the fact that he's a Jedi from a different era that's just sort of been floating around in a Bacta tank for hundreds of years. Who knew that didn't make you age? But here he is, and it's just, there was no new discovery to him. With Ravis, I felt like we learned that he was much smarter, much older, and much more dangerous than we thought he was. With Seer, we learned what she had been up to with the hidden path. With Bode, we learned all of the everything. With Dagan Gera, it was just like, I sort of fell in love with the planet of Tanalorr. I guess I probably had feelings for Centauri Kree as well, but I let my emotions get the better of me, and when the Jedi Council didn't do the thing that I thought that they should have, then I bled my lightsaber and decided to just go around murdering Jedi, which you have to say is a really weird, like, self-defeating thing. I'm mad that they didn't do a better job of saving the Jedi and preserving Tanalorr, so therefore now I'm just gonna murder Jedi to get what I want. And I don't think that that's ever like what he thought in his head, that he probably thought, I'll kill a few to save them all. But I don't know. Dagan Gera was, of the characters in a story that I really liked, his arc in it was the most basic. The fight with him was super cool, and the fact that Cal used his own fear against him in the Jedi Force delusion, awesome. Like, I realized as soon as it happened exactly what he was doing, but no, that part was great. Just in terms of like, who is this Dagan Gera character? It turns out that he's pretty much exactly who you think he is from the moment that he comes out of the tank. So that was a little bit disappointing relative to the rest of the story. I guess Darth Vader is also exactly who you think he is when he shows up. So let me just take a quick second here, because I wanted to look through some of the comments while I think if is there anything that I have missed. Oh, Silk just finished up his second run in the game. Just taking a quick look through. Sorry, hello to Silk. Let me just run through. Zara saying there's a video I'll send you, Angel, that's a sword master breaks down his opinion of the 5 saber styles. That'll be cool. Yeah, if you send that over in Discord. Jab would also like to see it. So Zara, if you wanted to post it in chat, like I'm not going to watch it on stream, but maybe other people would like to see it as well. Silk says I was close to being spoiled about Bode being traitor. Oh, that would have been very disappointing. Love the part with Seer, despite the Dark Soul difficulty part of it. It was a very tough fight. Oh, as long as we're talking about the technical of it, truly, like having gone through the whole game, the only part of it that ever felt outright broken was the Ogdo Bogdo fight, which is an optional fight. The next thing that I'm going to say, please do not like take it as a huge not. Ogdo Bogdo actually feels broken, and he didn't in the first game. His tongue lash can hit you out of the air. The timing on all of his attacks feels a little bit inconsistent. I did beat him there in the singular form, in the like quote-unquote real world. If I was to try that right now, I have no reason to believe that I could do it a second time, honestly. That the fight, it feels over-tuned in some way that just feels unfinished compared to every other fight. When you compare the Vader fight that I had a similar level of difficulty with, that never felt broken. That never felt like this is not functioning as intended, the way that the Ogdo Bogdo fight. And then when you go into the Force, like, Vision, we get to fight 2 of them. Yeah, no, the opposite of fun. I tried that a few times off stream, and like I said at one point, I was able to take down one of them, and the other one just like did his tongue grab and locked me into his mouth. It really wasn't fun. The other thing that I'd like to say about the Vader fight is I have mentioned on various different occasions that my issue with From Software games is not necessarily the difficulty, it's the fact that when you die, you have to redo such long tracts of gameplay, and there is never a time that this is more in your face than when you're trying to do a boss fight, where instead of just putting a checkpoint outside the boss door, they put it 4 minutes over there, and you just have to run through the level. I've said this before, so hopefully I'm not going to be repeating myself too much on that. Compare that to that Vader fight. That Darth Vader fight was very challenging for me. I didn't mind it. I got frustrated at my own lack of skill at it, that I wanted to learn it and be better at it, but never once was I like, oh man, this sucks, I'm angry at the game, but because I could just retry it. Imagine if every time I wanted to fight that Vader fight, I had to run through 4 minutes worth of stormtroopers that didn't pose any threat, but I had to stop and kill every single one of them every single time. That's not fun. That's not a challenge. That's just punishing you with a lot of pointless busy work. And I wanted to celebrate this game for the way that it does it, in part because I just this week saw somebody completely mischaracterize anybody's objection to From Software games as though we don't like hard games. They're, quote, not allowed to make hard games. And fans, quote, aren't allowed to like hard games. Literally no one on planet Earth, now or ever, has said you're not allowed to like hard games. The most someone like myself has ever said is, just put the checkpoint outside the boss door. That's it. And yes, if they also added easy mode and invincibility mode, if they added visual novel difficulty where you just walk in and one-shot all the bosses, I would personally fully support that. For me personally, I'd want to play it on the default difficulty and just not have my time wasted. But no, absolutely put in the various difficulty modes, because why not? This game has multiple difficulty modes, and the existence of Jedi Padawan Super Story Mode where you can't die in no way, in absolutely no way, diminish my enjoyment of playing it through. It remains a mystery to me on why it changed difficulties partway through, but hey, Jedi Master through most of it. I don't consider that to be a bragging point because it was never my intent, but nor would it really be a dragging point anyway, but no. Oh, and that, by the way, so I wanted to talk about the characters and oh, can I say a couple things about the tech of it? Just on, like, the slightest things. Cal's eyes never looked right to me. And his were the only ones. Whether they were non-human characters or the other humanoid characters like, Marin, or people like Seer and Bode. They all look fine. Something about Cal's eyes, it's like, I don't know if you're supposed to have ray tracing on and that makes a difference, but the way that the light shone off his irises just never looked correct somehow. And I really couldn't put my finger on it. I didn't mention it at any point because I didn't want anybody else to feel distracted by it, but his eyes and his eyes alone always seemed a little bit off. But and can I discuss at least briefly my very favorite story point? Like the story there at the end, the whole thing with like Kata, it absolutely worked. But my favorite individual story point was the conversation, Cal going to Bode's apartment and encountering his daughter and talking to her and introducing her to BD1, and then Bode comes in, because you couldn't have cut that tension with a knife because it was too thick. It was so intense. These two characters that would very clearly be attempting to murder each other and would decimate this entire apartment building to do it, except for the presence of this young one. And they both understand that, well, for Bode, it's his daughter. For Cal, no, we're not going to do that in front of her. And I was honestly surprised on the way down that he acceded to, let's see if we can get him to surrender. Because I don't know mechanically how that would work. I don't know how you have Bode atone for what he's done, but that wasn't gonna be my problem. They gave him the chance, and he not only did he not, but he was willing to put his daughter in extreme danger, like shoving her around and collapsing the bridge underneath her. Like, those are the points where you're just like, this is not going to happen. But that specific scene where I was absolutely on the edge of my seat watching that. I could not, and not since Breaking Bad have I felt more like I just don't know what's going to happen. Like, there's a part of you that could metagame it a little bit to say they're not going to kill a child in a AAA video game. But what if they do? I don't know, and that's not really where my head is when I'm watching the scene play out. So, no, that was a fantastic scene. The narrative, like everything that Dagan Gera wasn't, Bode was. Like, that whole relationship was so good. And I wanted to highlight that because now we've talked about the characters and the environments and the gameplay flow and the saber styles, and like the combat always feels good except for the Ogdo Bogdo fight. Every other thing, it feels super snappy, super responsive, with the exception of like sometimes not being locked down when you saber throw and he just like throws his lightsaber wherever he feels like it. That's not the game's fault. I should probably be more careful with what I'm doing with the sticks because I'm more accustomed to being locked on. It just feels good. I don't know how else to express it. The combat always feels good. It feels good to hit somebody with that lightsaber. And you can feel it, like in the controller when you're getting parried and knocked back and when to dodge and stuff. And I didn't always do it well, but there's a ton of visual, oral, and like haptic feedback on the controller that just makes the combat feel good. And I wanted to talk about all of those things because then you get to the big thing with this game on PC, which is that it feels unsteady all of the time. There's a certain, like, Digital Foundry has covered this, and I did see some of that when trying to troubleshoot this game and to try to make it run as well as it could. It just feels like there's something wrong on an engine level, and it's like, it's super easy for a jackass like me to sit here and say they should do more optimization. Well, if it could just be optimized, if there was a switch that they flipped, they would have done that. Clearly, the best people at Electronic Arts and Respawn Entertainment and whoever else could work on this hasn't been able to come up with an answer for why this game is just kind of fucked. It just is weird. The fact that we would play for episodes at a time and never have a problem, and what was it, episode 4, episode 5, just sort of diving into like the 5 frames per second. It was after the recent performance patch. It must hurt. And I say this with all of the empathy that I can possibly imagine. It must be really painful to have actors of this caliber and storytellers of this caliber and combat and mechanics and level designers of this caliber doing this kind of work, and then to have it released in a state that at release was effectively unplayable for a lot of people, and then it took months of post-release patching to edge it into a state where it's relatively stable. I can't even complain that the game doesn't like to be alt-tabbed, because if you have to choose between make a game that runs well or make a game that can support being alt-tabbed out, like that second thing, it really shouldn't be their thing. The fact that I'm streaming it and like would alt-tab out to do that, I can't hold them accountable for the way that I choose to play. But when we're just in the game and playing normally, and it feels like it's just sort of randomly creaking, and there's these odd stutters in the animation just running around the world, and you can turn the camera quickly and get these flashes of white because it's sort of aggressively culling the geometry outside the camera view to try to get it to a playable frame rate. It's an example of a really, really great game being knocked down a few pegs by a failure in the tech, and I don't know what team, what division, what group should be called to account for that. It shouldn't have released this way. I would like it to be better, and it's hard to escape the feeling that everyone that we've seen scrolling past would have liked it to be better. And clearly, if it was a simple fix, we would have gotten it. So, I don't know. That's what I have to say about performance. I will reiterate that if I could do it again, I'd probably play it on PS5 or Xbox Series X, and from everything that I've heard from multiple people, including Silk, I think that it would have been a better overall experience. So that would be my piece of advice. We're recording this in January 2024. The game has been out for almost a full year. It is playable. It should be a lot more steady than it is, and the fact that it's not would lead me to say, grab the console version, and maybe someday PC tech will be enough to brute force itself past some of the just sort of like concessions that have been made for this PC version. Let me take another look here on at chat here, because I've been sort of going on for a bit here. Silk also loved the part with Seer, despite the Dark Soul difficulty of it. Let me say this, out of all the bosses, the Dagon Gera boss on the observation was the most difficult, for me at least. Interesting. Dagon Gera felt short at the end, like trying to do the right thing, but ends up in the wrong, as a character beat. Silk is also saying, actually, I managed to defeat Ogdo Bogdo spawns. Wow, you got both of them? I got the single one, the one in the pit, but the one that is like both of them, I could not. So far, and I don't think that I will. It would be interesting to try it again on Jedi Knight difficulty, which is what I intended to play on. But yeah, on Jedi Master, I can get halfway there, and then I get done. Sam Liner says, FromSoft is all about player disrespect. That's what their player base wants, apparently. I I do not now, nor will I ever understand the argument against having multiple difficulty levels. I just don't, and I'm letting you know that if you're hammering out a response on your keyboard, I'm still not, whatever you're about to say is something that I've heard elsewhere. I'll read it. Like, I am interested in hearing, like, fresh takes on it, but I feel like this is a discussion that's been had, and it is as simple as people who are against accessibility and different difficulty levels. They simply want to have what they perceive to be the prestige of being able to finish something that other people can't. And here's the thing, you still have that prestige when you beat it on the hardest difficulty level and no one else can do that. I can't win this game on Grandmaster, I assume. Anybody that beat this game on Grandmaster, congratulations, you did something that I can't. There is your prestige. The fact that this game also has lower difficulty levels takes nothing from your accomplishment. So, yeah, my vote is more difficulty levels for everybody. You know, the fact that this game has the accessibility feature where you can slow down combat by I don't know how low it goes, but I suspect you can make it combat straight up be half speed if that's the way that you choose to play. Awesome. I didn't happen to use that, but by all means, please have that into the game. Oh, hello to Crow. Crow is saying, did you love it? Crow, I'd like to say that I only have positive things to say about the game. From a technical perspective, a little uneven, but I really, really, really enjoyed the story of it. And if the main bad guy had been Dagon Gera, I would not have responded as well to it as I am. The whole boat of it, the whole, like, basically everything from reconnecting with Seer on Jeddah and, like, oh no, the hidden path is under attack. Okay, so I do have a question from a story beat perspective. I am correct, I hope, that Bode felt the need to kill Eno Cordova and turn everybody over to the Empire and then try to escape on his own with the goal of being the only person who knew how to get to Tanalorr, because if Tanalorr was then used for the hidden path, it would be a target that the Empire would never stop seeking. And that's why he couldn't do it. Because I'm letting you know now that if his position was, well, if the hidden path moves to Tanalorr, then, like, Kata and I are just going to have to deal with a whole bunch of other people all the time or whatever. Like, that just didn't make sense to me. So I do feel like it's Bode wants to take Kata someplace that no one can ever find them, and it'll just be the two of them. Seems like an awful solitary existence, but I just hope that's it, because this planet isn't big enough for me and like 4 dozen other people. It's a really weird position to have. Samlin says, I'm 100% with you on the difficulty, but from everything I've seen online, they're basically the video game equivalent of Masochist, the From Software fans. I truly don't understand it. I'm slightly worried that we're going to have a post-credit sequence here. If so, it's extremely quiet. Let's turn it back up. No? No, shit. Hold on. Shh.
Well, it's not exactly what we expected. But this place is our home now.
Yeah, Grease. Yeah, I guess it is. Still got a lot of work ahead of us.
It will take time to contact the hidden path.
And find the anchorites.
And build a saloon. I mean, the place is creepy, but it does have franchise potential.
This belongs with you.
It belongs with all of us. What do you think, kid? Should we give it a shot?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Ah, that's the spirit. Oh, that's great. Come on, I'll bet you're hungry. I'll make you something to eat. Did you ever have a scaz steak?
You've reached the end of your journey. However, the galaxy can be freely explored, and there may yet be secrets left to uncover. New Journey Plus is now available from the main menu. All stances and cosmetics from previous games will be unlocked, along with some new perks and lightsaber colors. One might be on the screen right now. Any skill points will also carry over to your new game. New Journey Plus free perks. Purity grants a massive increase in weapon damage for both friends and foes. Oh, maybe that's like true lightsaber mode, where you like all borderline kill people on one hit. Warrior replaces standard enemies with new, more difficult combat encounters. Trendsetter randomizes your cosmetics on death. Oh, that sounds really fun. However, let's go touch the save point. So the other possibility, by the way, now, Bode had not been to Tanalorr at the time that this happened, but when I take note of one specific thing that might be a setup for things that we'll learn in a potential third game. Cal and Merrin arrive on Tanalorr. They encounter Kata. She's outside singing by herself. Bode has just apparently let her wander off. Tanalorr, frankly, seems like a bit of a fixer-upper. Maybe he's building a cabin or something, we don't know. And then when we walk inside, she says, well, I don't like this place, it's creepy. And that could just be like you're a little kid and the basement is scary. Like the sound of the furnace sounds like a monster, so you don't know. But then when they get to the end of the tunnel, they see Bode, and Bode hasn't even registered that they're there, and he seems distracted. He seems a little on edge, frankly, and as far as he knows, he's the only person here. Like, at first I thought that he was going to say, so you've come, but when he turns around, he seems surprised to see Cal and Merrin. He didn't know that they were here. So that leads me to wonder if there's something wrong with Tanalorr itself. Maybe Dagan Gera didn't go off the path and turn to the dark side just because he was in love with some combination of Centauri, Kree, and the planet. Maybe there's something about Tanalorr that messes you up after a while, and maybe some people are more susceptible to it than others. It's at least a possibility, because the fact that you see Bode and he's like, he seems a little off from how you normally know him. He's not like, hey Kata, come on, I killed, I got us some dinner. He seems a little unsettled when you meet him, and that's before he knows that you're there. So that's the other possibility of Tanalorr. Dougler saying no, the basement is dirty and unfinished, and he has a random toilet in the open. Oh wait, no, he said more. Goth mommy, and I mean, hey guys, how's it going? I'm totally normal. Oh, and hello to Ginger Beef. I think Bode was worried that if other people were coming and going, the Empire would eventually catch wind and track them back to Tanalorr. And that would make a lot of sense, because if you consider what Bode has been doing for a living, getting information to track down insurgent cells and bring them to the Empire's attention, he not only knows that that's possible, he's the dude doing it. So yeah, a lot of traffic in and out of Tanalorr would raise the prospects that another Bode, another person out there, would bring the Empire to their doorstep. And once, it would put his daughter back in danger. So that's my best read on it. I personally think that there would have been some benefit to just clarifying that, because when he was first like, you were going to give the planet to the Hidden Order, since he never moved the Hidden Path, since he doesn't move to that next thought, it's like, bro, just go settle on a different continent. It's fine. Just go someplace else. Gingerby says that's an interesting theory. Doesn't Bode say along those lines at one point? I thought maybe they made that clear, but I just imagined it. If I may have missed it, if it was made more explicit at some point. It seemed a little inexplicable that he's like, no, you're going to give it to the hidden path. Trendsetter does sound great, especially if it like also redoes your hair and mustache and everything, like all the cosmetics. I love that as an optional mode to put into the game. So that's that's it. That's everything that I have to say about the game. And I will undoubtedly think about more things. But in terms of ways to start off 2024, and by the way, the game might now crash at any moment. Or sorry, the streaming software might crash because I did have to alt-tab out there. But also, Kata is remarkably self-possessed, I have to say, to have gone through everything that she has and to be sort of on board with everything. Can I share what I'd love to see in a third game? A few years have passed. Yo, we've got lots of stuff. Red and party lightsaber blades are now available. Your skill points have been refined and are ready to be spent again, and all lightsaber stances are unlocked, and all new abilities are found on your journey have been reset. Okay, cool. I wanted to close the menu. We'll get out of this in a second. What I wanted to say is, yep. Okay, so cool. Go here, quit, and exit to title screen. Silk says party lightsaber's not fun for me. Does it constantly flicker between different colors? Is it basically rave mode? Oh, Sam is also wondering, does it do all cosmetics, including BD1? Also, BD1 just continues to be a wonderfully animated character. BD1 has so much personality for a character that does not speak and frankly rarely verbalizes in any way. He doesn't even do like the R2-D2s. Like, he really doesn't beep or boop all that often. And there's so much communication just with his looks and sort of like the cock of his head and stuff. He reminds me of like a cross between a bird and a ferret with the way that it would sort of like react and communicate. BD1 is very clearly aware of everything that's going on, but also doesn't seem to pass a lot of judgments on what's going on. It's just sort of like seems to express concern for Cal's well-being and sometimes the well-being of others, but it's like all so enthusiastic to meet Kata, seemingly oblivious to the subtext running along here, but BD1 has been around the block a few times that you know that he's not. Anyway, BD1 is an interesting character that clearly the animators put a ton of effort into, and I wanted to cite that as well. Changes the color changes between each hit, color-wise. That sounds distracting more than anything else. I'm not sure that I would be a big fan of that. Well, Zara is saying that it changes every time that you activate the color. To activate the saber, it's a different color. And Silk is saying that it changes between each hit. Yeah, if it was a different one each time that you turned it on, that would be okay. I guess a little, I don't know, I'm not sure that I would even like that, but if it changes on each hit, that seems really distracting. But yeah, that's it. That is our full playthrough of Jedi Survivor. I do want to say that on the whole, I really enjoyed this game. In terms of like an overall experience, I do feel like I have to give the nod to Fallen Order, because although it was a little bit more focused in terms of like the number of lightsaber styles and the moves that you had, it felt more polished on the whole, probably owing to like the technical, like that last scene where Marin was talking to Kata and it sort of cut away to Cal. So although you're getting Marin's voiceover, you're seeing Cal sort of like examine the lightsaber and then put it onto Bode's chest and stuff. The fact that this scene is well acted and emotionally resonant, that you get everything from Cameron Monaghan's physical performance and the actor who's playing Marin, you get her verbal performance, and it feels like this very poignant end to this very challenging journey, that the story of these two characters between Bode and Cal, that has come to its conclusion in, frankly, the only way that I feel like it could have based on what it is. And also in the background, the little scarf coming off of Cal's outfit is just completely glitching out. If I had known that was going to happen, I would have chosen an outfit where that doesn't happen. It's perhaps an event that only a small percentage of people are going to see, and yet it feels perfectly emblematic of the Jedi Survivor experience. A really great game that rewards you for engaging with it and its characters emotionally and getting invested in the story, and then every once in a while there's some weird technical thing that just throws you completely out of it. It was, in its own way, kind of the perfect ending. I would have avoided it if I could have, but since we didn't, it's like, yeah, no, that's what the game was like. So I would say check it out on console. If you got a PC 3 times more powerful than mine, maybe it'll run great. But yeah, it's got its ups and downs, and I would say that it's a very good sophomore attempt. Could have been better technically, but it definitely leaves me very hungry for a third game, where if I was to sort of like outline my wishes real quick, a few years have gone by, Cal's a little bit older, Kata's a little bit older. Kata is the daughter of at least one Force-sensitive person, so maybe Kata has taken up a lightsaber and is a Padawan of her own. And there's an aspect of now Cal has moved into the teacher role of trying to bring up the next generation of Jedi. I think that'd be really cool. I sort of thought that that's what this game was going to be, but if anything, now Jedi Survivor's done a better job of setting that up for what it could be in a third game. So yeah, I would love to see that. Let's call it here. We're going to go find somebody fun to raid, and thank you guys very much for joining us for our first complete playthrough of 2024. Fallen Order was the first playthrough I did in 2020, and now here 4 years later, 4 years later, we've come back to play the sequel, and I really did enjoy it very much. I've got some feedback on how things could have been better, but that's to be expected. That's it. Thank you guys so much. We will see you again in the days to come for some more awesome streams, but until next time, I hope you have a great day.